So, Phase 3 of the Odyssey Alpha arrived on Thursday, and for what I personally had thought would be the least interesting of any of the phases, it has stirred up quite a bit of controversy. I say least interesting because the listed features were kind of sparse, and one in particular, the first footfall experience, I already knew would be underwhelming almost to the point of non-existence. You see, we've already had our first landing experiences by this point in the alpha, and the implementation of such is just a fade to black and then a fade back in on the surface. It's the least possible experiential implementation of how this could have been done, and I'm fine with that. It's just a functional solution to the problem. But while they are selling it in this phase of the alpha as one of the key features, it's fair game for greater scrutiny in my opinion. So, first footfall. What is the added experience like? It's a very small and very brief text element that appears on screen. That's it. That, and I guess obviously claiming the planet as your own. This planet is mine now. Planet Katie. Now, that's not to say the experience of landing on a planet and exploring isn't fun. It really is. And I found myself stopping often just to take in the amazing surroundings I was presented with, and searching for alien life forms to scan with what has become referred to as the plant gun, an exo-biology scanner that has stirred up the bulk of the controversy in this phase of the alpha. You see, the idea is you scan a planet with a detailed surface scanner, and I presented with a kind of heat map to finding life on the surface. For me, this feature does not work correctly at the moment, instead just painting the whole world green, and I have been informed that this is a common problem at present. Anyway, you get down to the surface, find your life form, in this case a kind of mouldy custard, and scan/sample it. The scan sample process is a kind of Twitch-based wheel alignment game which immediately felt at odds with the awe-inspiring environments I was immersed in. Many have objected to the speed of the rotation and having your progress reset a level if you make a mistake. I understand these objections, though I found the process pretty quick to learn and to get proficient with, but it just didn't feel right, you know? Wouldn't a puzzle of some kind be more fitting? I'm not an explorer, but surely exploration is a slow and considered activity. The process here feels way more appropriate for hacking or lockpicking than sampling alien life. Anyway, you collect your sample and require 2 more samples to complete the little canister thing with a full saleable commodity. The second problem here is that you are now locked into only searching for the life form you previously scanned, regardless of whether you come across additional life forms along the way. Now, on Planet Katie this isn't a problem, we only grow mouldy custard, but I have heard many reports of commanders having to pass by perfectly good life forms as their plant gun canister was already half full with something else. That's bad design in my opinion. It's not that the idea of the plant gun is bad, it just feels like a bit of a lazy implementation, lacking depth. There is so much that could have been done to create genetic tools and minigames to add depth to this activity. So, what does mouldy custard go for these days on the free market? It was time for a trip to Vista Genomics to find out. So as I'm sure by now you're familiar with, Vista Genomics is another one of the market stalls, if you will, within the concourse of station and planetary port social spaces. And we're about to go and sell our sample and see what we can get in return for the time we've invested.
Yes? You wish to contribute to Vista Genomics? We always seek to learn more about life in the black.
30,000 credits. Ew. For the time invested, I have to admit I was expecting more. A lot more. It goes without saying that all of these prices and features are still in the alpha, so could be subject to change. And also I'm sure there are variation between different life forms and the credit reward you receive for returning a sample. So hopefully this process is at least worthwhile credit-wise overall, if not in this particular example. So the other area I wanted to gain better insight was just how substantial a sky was possible within a limitation of tenuous atmospheres. And I set out to find an inner planet with an atmosphere to hopefully see something like we'd seen in the trailers for Odyssey. That is, a nice blue sky that, while still thin enough to see stars, was substantially enough to resemble a clear daytime sky on Earth. And this is proving to be a difficult task. You see, blue skies are really not that common in Odyssey, with pink seemingly the most common. Brown and white are also quite regular, but blue by itself is very rare. I have so far found a few blue skies with pink in them as well, and I'm aware that the colour of the sky depends on the chemistry of the atmosphere, but so far at least, a good blue sky is really hard to come by. This might be the closest I've yet come, an oxygen, carbon dioxide atmosphere with a hint of sulfur dioxide, but very thin.
Low gravity detected.
I have not yet found where, if anywhere, it displays atmospheric pressure on the system map, so it's all a bit luck of the draw when it comes to landing on a planet. And also, I am aware that I should probably be looking for nitrogen-oxygen atmospheres to see the results I am looking for, but again, these are seemingly very rare. I will be continuing to push the exploration gameplay over the next couple of days to see what Phase 3 has to offer in terms of the larger exploration bubble. But these have been my initial thoughts upon the first couple of days of Phase 3 of the Odyssey Alpha.